Will Micah Parsons play for the Cowboys this season? Will the New York Giants take a step forward? Will the Washington Commanders prove that last year was not a fluke? And will the Philadelphia Eagles continue their dominant run from the Super Bowl? This is our NFC East preview and predictions video. Hit that subscribe button down below and we'll get right into it with our number 4 teams.
Number 4 team. The New York Giants are my number 4 team. But it's kind of weird because for me, they have taken a step forward this year, but the record doesn't show it in my opinion because I have them at 3-14.
Okay, so...
And there's a reason for that, which we're going to get into.
So, okay.
But yeah, that's my number 4 team.
You said everything perfectly. I have the exact same record as you as well, 3-14. Before I looked at the schedule and then they have the hardest strength of schedule when I saw it. That alone doesn't
Wait
work.
on that though. Wait on that because this one I want to say this about the Giants. Their defense is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Right? They have some studs, obviously Dexter Lawrence leading the way. Offensively, not bad. Right? O-line could use a little bit of help, but Andrew Thomas is, a solid tackle. Obviously, let's see if Tyrone Tracy can continue his rookie success. Jackson Dart looks promising, and obviously they do have quarterback options. And then you have Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, who came into his own a little bit last year. So, yes, they're going to take a step forward in terms of what they're going to display on the field. But like you mentioned, the strength of schedule. When you're going through each and every one, I'm like, bro, these guys have it tough. And I just feel like each of their losses are just going to be close losses. Like last year, there were blowouts. This year, just going to be closer. The Giants are going to take a step forward. I'm going to say that and get that off my chest. They will.
Before I looked at the schedule, I'm like, I do kind of believe in this Giants team a little bit, right? This is obviously, what's his coach's name? Brian Dable's last chance, in my opinion. Like, people were lucky that he even survived last year. But then, when you look at the schedule, their division alone is relatively somewhat tough with Washington taking a step forward, and we'll see what the Dallas Cowboys are going to be. But then, which division are they playing here? They have the AFC West.
And the NFC North.
And the NFC North. So they got the 2 toughest divisions on top of that. They didn't get lucky with getting any of the Souths or both the Souths or whatever the case may be, right, to help them the case. So 3-14 sounds harsh. It seems like they might draft another quarterback next year. Who knows? But going back to it, defensively, very quickly, I love this line, right? The addition of Abdul Carter, we'll see how this goes. You obviously have probably the best tackle right now, next to maybe Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence is definitely up there.
Obviously,
Quentin Williams as well.
Kayvon Thibodeau is there. He might be a trade piece because you got a guy like Abdul Carter. I know based on ESPN's depth chart right now, Abdul Carter is not starting, but we all know who the future, in my opinion, is going to be. Brian Burns, you went out and got him. So, defensively, I feel like this team is going to be solid. They went out and got Javon Holland for the secondary. We'll see how the rest of the secondary performs. Question is offensively, right? The first question is, what's the long term? Obviously, we know what the plan is at long term. It is Jackson Dart. But the question is Russell Wilson, who they named quarterback 1 relatively early in preseason, how long of a leash is he going to get, right? Because outside of the first Denver year, he hasn't necessarily, he has not been anywhere near Seattle level, but he hasn't been, in my opinion, terrible. The second Denver year, I thought he was solid. Last year in Pittsburgh, he was meh. I don't know how he got the Pro Bowl, not in that one. A lot of dropouts probably happened, right? I thought he was more of a Pro Bowl in the second Denver year. So the question is, how is he going to perform here? He has a very good weapon. Malik Neighbors, he's promising. Right now out of the draft, he is looking like the best the drafted wide receiver ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll talk more about Marvin Harrison Jr. when we do our NFC West video. But Wan'Dale Robinson, last year, took a very good step. Darius Slayton, he hasn't, took an emergence.
Option 3, though? That's pretty good.
Which is pretty solid. The question is going to come, obviously, so, you said it perfect in the Cleveland video. Do you have 1 quarterback? They have 3 right now. Jameis is probably going to get traded. Let's just be real.
Let's be honest. Russell is the guy, and they hope Jackson Dart takes over. That's the situation here. So, obviously, it's not Cleveland's situation at all. Jameis Winston, I still don't understand why they would sign him, but let's be honest, I 100% agree with you. I think he should get traded.
There's teams that need a quarterback.
And there's teams that, are going to need a quarterback, and Jameis Winston could provide some reps for them. But overall, the situation for quarterback here is Russell Wilson starts, and hopefully Jackson Dart could take over.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, based on what I saw in preseason, or by analyst-wise as well, they the way he played when he came in and he performed, obviously. First of all, the name, Jackson Dart. like it's a quarterback. He better be a stud. It's like those typical quarterback, those football movies that you watch, right? That's the name you get. The guy was.
He has a story. he has a storyline.
And then the last thing with him before we move on is like the running back. The question is, can Tyron Tracy take a jump? If not, you got Cam Scottaboo waiting in the wings as well. And we saw how good of a player Cam Scottaboo was when it came to Arizona State and how great he was in like those conference playoff games and like even the what's the tournament, the college playoff tournament that they had as well. So overall, there's 3-14 sounds very harsh and it sucks, but it's just they're the victims of a very, very hard schedule. And then I don't think they're gonna take that big of a jump. To maybe they might get some garbage time wins in a sense that like some teams have like the later in the season.
We'll
wins,
just
right?
see that's happening. We'll see if that happens. But overall, that is our number 4 team. Before we move on to our number 3 team, let's say the comment of the videos. The comment that we want to see you guys hit below is give us your standings for the NFC East and maybe in a description of why do you have each team at number 4 or 3, 2 or 1. So drop that down below in the comments. We look at every single comment. We try to reply to every single comment.
We appreciate all the comments that have been coming out, especially during our tier list videos in general.
Let's go. Number 3. Dallas Cowboys. For me, I have them at a 6-11 record.
Dallas Cowboys for me as well. I have them at a 7-11. Right? 7-10. No. What was it? 7-10 record as well.
So let's go.
Oh, sorry. Not as well, but you have 6 wins.
Here's the thing. And I'm going to get this thing out first. I'm going to start off with the good for the Dallas Cowboys. And here's the good. They got CeeDee Lamb help. Getting George Pickens, getting CeeDee Lamb a second option was one of the priorities in this offseason, and they did that. So that will essentially open up CeeDee Lamb's game. And obviously George Pickens, we already know how great of a wide receiver he is and how great of a contested catcher he is. A 50-50
arguably top 5
ball
duo, strictly wide receiver duo in the NFL.
Like that's just gonna be such a huge plus for this offense because we saw last year how much was on CeeDee Lamb, even when Dak is healthy. But that was the only good. I'm gonna start switching to the bad, and this one's kind of like I guess in the middle. But I'm gonna have to start bringing up this conversation of Dak and injuries because I'm not saying Dak inability.
Yeah,
like obviously Dak, I'm not saying obviously he's going to take him to a Super Bowl or anything because he hasn't proven that. But in terms of injuries, he has now in his career have a fair share of injuries now. And we've seen this team struggle when Dak Prescott is out. And if Dak Prescott is out, this team will struggle. And I have to start questioning mark his health. I have to put a question mark next to his health.
Yeah, health / O-line a little bit. One thing Dallas does well, though, is they do draft O-linemen, and we'll see what Tyler Booker does this year. Obviously, to start the year, Dak is healthy, so we know that CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens will be elite, like how you said he's going to be, so Dak is going to have the weapons. Dak, obviously, I know you're a little lower on Dak than most people are. I'm a little bit higher on Dak than I am with you when he is healthy, but you're right. I'm not going to disagree with the injury status there. So you said the good. You said the good mid thing, right? Dak being back, but injury concern. I'm going to go finishing off with the offense. I'm going to go with the bad. The run game. Did not address it at all. They were a team that was rumored to get Ashton Jeanty. We obviously know where Ashton Jeanty ended up going, which was 6th to the Raiders. They didn't reach like how Detroit did with Gibbs with a guy like Amari Hampton, right? Because he was the only other one that went in the first round. Stuff like that. I don't know how if they could have picked a guy like Travion Henderson in the second round or not. I forget how the order was and if they were picking. But the bad is
didn't have Chance Henderson.
Yeah, so the bad is the running backs, straight up, right? They didn't address it by trade. They did not address it by. I mean, they could maybe go out and get a Brian Robinson, but I don't know if an in division trade is going to happen right now. But Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders being your starting running backs, a lot of pressure on the pass game, right? Like a lot of it. Like if the O-line ends up being elite somehow, maybe that could help him out a little bit. Javonte Williams obviously had the really good, I think his first or second year with Denver. After that kind of fizzled off, obviously injuries, but then again, he doesn't seem great. He's definitely destined to be an RB2. Check out our running back tier list video. We talked about it more then. So that's the very bad in terms of the offensive side. Now flipping over to the defense, we know I'm going to start off with the negative right off the bat. What the hell's happening with Micah Parsons? We already dropped a video about that, so we don't need to go too much into detail, but at the moment, he's still not practicing. He's still not given a contract. They've rejected trade offers. Apparently, the Packers gave a package of 2 firsts, a second, and a 5th, I believe, something along that line. The problem with Micah's in a lose-lose situation as well because, like you said, they're going to probably franchise tag him, but they might. I saw a report they might try to trade him the next year. If Micah Parsons is healthy, this is a team arguably could challenge for second place in this division. And healthy. But if Micah Parsons is not playing for this Dallas Cowboys team, and Trayvon Diggs, at least say what you want about his coverage ability, he still at least provides some type of hope. He's out injured as well. So defensively, they're in shambles at the moment. If Micah does not play, then yes, your 6-11, your 6-11 might be right. My 7-10, I was a little bit more hopeful, would be right. But if Micah plays, yes, this team could challenge to be over 500 for sure.
Yeah, this defense situation right now is without Micah, they're garbage.
Yeah.
With Micah, they'll be like in the middle of the pack because that's how impactful Micah Parsons is. That's how good Micah Parsons is. But again, there hasn't been much good for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm gonna finish off with my point in the negative, and that is Brian Schottenheimer really gonna be the guy?
Yeah. So I forgot about that.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at this, Mike McCarthy did have some good years in Dallas Cowboys. We'll give him credit to that. 0 playoff success. We obviously know that. With Brian Schottenheimer, this guy wasn't on anyone's radar in the coaching carousel in the offseason.
Yeah.
And you went on to promote him with an offense that was very minimally creative, lackluster, because it solely relied on the Dak and CD connection. And obviously when Dak went down, there was no Dak and CD question. And you still couldn't get CD Lamb the ball or touches because we saw CD Lamb be visibly frustrated with Dak too, but also without Dak. And Brian Schottenheimer is supposed to be the mastermind behind that, trying to get your star players the ball. And he couldn't do that. So him just running this offense and running the team, I have a lot of question marks. I'm not writing him off completely just because, it's his first chance.
We don't know too much about him.
Know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Anything could happen. There are a lot of successful stories for first-time head coaches or just new situations. But right now, there's a lot of question marks for me about Brian Schottenheimer leading this team.
Yeah, like you said it perfectly. He was not on anybody's radar. So it's clearly Jerry Jones' hire. We know Jerry Jones wants to control certain things. The thing with Mike McCarthy was at least he was a successful head coach in the NFL. Brian Schottenheimer is a question mark, right? From what I heard, his previous stints as the offensive coordinators, he hasn't been the greatest. We'll see how that changes. I don't know what his scheme is, so that's why I don't want to comment too much. Is he run-centric heavy, like a guy like Clint Kubiak is doing what he's going to try to acclimate in Seattle down there? Or is he going to be like, okay, just pass, whatever the case might be, right? So we'll hold off on that. I'm going to end off on one positive, though. I'll give him a little bit of credit. You have Brandon Aubrey.
Okay.
I'll give him that. You have Brandon Aubrey. You probably have the best kicker in the game.
Before we move on to our number 2 team, we would appreciate you guys smash that subscribe button down below. Also smash the like button if you are enjoying the videos. We're going to be dropping weekly NFL content, maybe even multiple times a week. Right now, we're dropping multiple times a week because there is a lot of content that we need to get out
for the
before the NFL season starts. And the NFL season is starting very soon. 2.5 weeks left until the first regular season kickoff. We're hyped. Stay with us throughout the year because we're dropping weekly content throughout the season as well. So if you're about the NFL, hit that subscribe button because that's what this channel is all about. Number 2 team, Washington Commanders, 12-5. I'm banking on Jaden Daniels.
Okay. I am a little bit on the lower end. They are second for me as well, obviously. Washington Commanders for me are going 9-8. For me, the first big question mark is Daniels sophomore slump. I don't fully buy that. But the other main question mark for me, what the hell is happening with Terry McLaurin as well, right? You got Debo, you got help, but the problem is you finally got all this success, and Terry McLaurin is still on holding in wherever. Like, what is happening with that? Because you do not want to take your number 1 weapon away, as elite as Terry McLaurin is, in my opinion. I would say if he's looking for $33 million, you pay the guy because he is better than, in my opinion, than DK Metcalf is right now. I'm not saying DK Metcalf is terrible, but I think Terry McLaurin has been better. Terry McLaurin is in that D-hop stage where he had a lot of different quarterbacks throwing him the ball, and he's still been elite at it. Maybe not to the level that what DeAndre Hopkins did, but we saw what happens when you gave D-hop at the time Deshaun Watson, how great he was. Then going with Kyler Murray, how great he was. You give him Jane Daniels, we saw how everybody saw, okay, yeah, Terry McLaurin's a real deal. You need to get that guy on the field for them to, then I would 100% agree with you that they could be at that record. Again, tough divisions that they're facing as well, all the teams in this division. But overall, I still had to give them the respect of the 9-8 record. I like that they upgraded the O-line a little bit and certain pieces on defensive side.
The big reason I'm buying in the hype is I am assuming Terry McLaurin will be a commander.
Yeah.
So like that's a big reason why I gave him 12 wins.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing. But at the end of the day, is it a genuine concern? 100%. You are right on that. But I did this record based on because I have this belief that Terry McLaurin, I won't say suit up maybe week 1 or maybe week 1 he might miss, but I think the Commanders and Terry McLaurin will figure it out just because this team has too much promise. And for both sides, 1, the Commanders can be really good, and 2, Terry McLaurin can prove how good of a wide receiver he is. And obviously, this situation for him and Jaden Daniels is crucial because both of these players bring each other successes. So that's a big factor in why I think they should and will get this done. But let's get into it, right? O-line, they addressed. They traded for Lermy Tunsil, which is obviously one of the concerns in the offseason. Otherwise, they did get Deebo Samuel. And right now, I think Deebo Samuel literally got cyberbullied into looking fit because this guy lost some pounds. He's looking fit. And in seeing some preseason clips, it looks like he could return to that, I believe, 2021 Deebo, where he just absolutely went off for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. The other thing when it comes to the wide receiver, they are very high on Luke McCaffrey. From what I'm hearing from the Washington coaches and staff, they think that he's going to take another step this year. So that's good. If he does take a step, really good for Jaden Daniels, assuming that as well. Obviously, for me, running back wise is question mark because they are looking to shop Brian Robinson Jr., which means they are high on Jackery, Kroski, Merritt. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Maybe he takes a jump forward. Overall, like a lot of consistencies from last year. They have a lot of pieces coming back. Even like to your point, the over-unders, right? They gave the respect to the Commanders. They said 9.5. You obviously said just over. I said just under. So it's not like
I'm not just over, bro. I
wait, sorry. I thought you said 10. What'd you say?
I said 12.
Okay, so you're going on. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna disagree too much. Like I said, like this team.
Here's the thing too.
Like this team is for me is just like. Okay, I could see your situation happening, but I could see my situation happening.
Yeah, and that obviously is going to depend on Jaden Daniels and if he takes a CJ Stroud.
And there's a game plan on him now too, a little bit.
Yeah, if he takes a CJ Stroud route where he has a sophomore slump, or if he goes like Mahomes style where he just doesn't struggle for a very long time.
Yeah.
And again, finishing off, defense is full of solid veterans, like you said, continuity overall in this team throughout the roster. And the defense is full of veterans. It's still decent. I won't say it's up there. But the good news is you're led by Dan Quinn, so that kind of helps it go up there. But overall, when you're looking at it, this is probably the first time we've seen continuity in the Washington Commanders in a very long time.
What's funny though, speaking of the over-unders, the Giants got some respect at 5.5. Obviously, we had to give it lower. But like in the coaching staff side of things, remember last year when you're like, I can't trust Cliff Kingsbury? So he shut you up at least for the most part. I still trusted him in a sense that he's not at a head coaching position. Yeah, at an OC role. And he might get, because of this, he might get a second chance at a head coaching opportunity, and we'll see how that ends up happening. Before we continue to the number 1 team, make sure I want to let everybody know that we are officially on Spotify, and we're trying to maybe get some other audio networks going. So that link is in our link tree and might be in this description down below. So if you are listening on audio platforms as we speak, thank you guys for that. And make sure you guys download the pod, rate the podcast 5 stars, and leave a review down there as well. But number 1 team, obviously for both of us, very clearly, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. The question is, what record are we giving them? Are they going to be the best team in the NFL? For me, the answer is they will be tied for the best team in the NFL, and I will address who will be the best team once we do our playoff video. And I have them at 13-4 record.
I have the Philadelphia Eagles at a 14-3 record with a massive winning streak to start off the season. And 14-3 record.
I have 1 loss before their bye. So yeah.
And the 14-3 record for me is the best record in the NFL because they beat out the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills for me, and from the AFC. And let's be honest, no other NFC team is going to have a better record than the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, the Lions might have a case, but let's be honest, the Lions did lose a lot of pieces. But for me, Philadelphia Eagles, best record in NFL. Why? Because I'm going to start on the offensive side. It is the same offense. Only one change, though. Kevin Patullo is the new offensive coordinator because Kellen Moore is now the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. But good news, he's an internal hire, which means when in doubt or when in trouble, give the ball to Saquon Barkley. It's still going to be a go.
Was there a last one an internal hire before Steichen and them left?
Yeah,
and it didn't work out. So like
It didn't work out.
Little concern there.
But
But it's not Vic Fangio. But I'm just saying offensively. But
there's Saquon Barkley.
True.
This time. There's literally a safety net here. Is literally, if you're in trouble, if you're feeling stressed or in doubt, just give the ball to your best playmaker. And that is Saquon Barkley.
big question mark for them is, are they going to have a Super Bowl hangover, right? Outside of the Chiefs from a couple of years ago, there was not a back-to-back winner since the Patriots in the early 2000s, I believe what it was. Yes, this team did lose some pieces. They moved on from guys like Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, but they obviously have the young guys that stepped up for them in the secondary in Quenion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. On top of that, they brought back Zach Bond. Nakobe Dean hopefully couldn't be healthy. Right now he's listed as out here. They drafted a guy, Jahad Campbell. Everybody's like, how the hell did you let the Eagles draft a guy like Jahad Campbell? Right?
That's crazy.
So, which is the other things. And then you have the young, obviously that line led by Jalen Carter, and obviously Jordan Davis has been solid.
So
but Jalen Carter,
they did lose pieces defensively, but like you said, losing Darius Slay, losing CJ, I think is going to hurt more, because they don't really have a full-blown safety replacement. Let's see if Canadian Sidney Brown steps up in that starting role. But Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, they're going to be thrusted into starting roles from literally week 1, especially Cooper DeJean, because we know this guy came in week 4 for them. And that's when, obviously, their defense really took a turn. Because when you saw the first beginning of the season, their defense wasn't great.
Yeah.
But they figured out Vic Fangio, right? Because Vic Fangio had a similar situation in Miami, where it's a complicated defense to learn. But if they had it figured out, which the Philadelphia Eagles did with the installation of Cooper DeJean, that's how they became so elite. So because they have the DC and Vic Fangio, they had the young studs to replace Gardner Johnson and Darius Slay. Secondary should not be an issue. Obviously, you have your main leader and signal caller in Zach Bond, which is a huge plus. Let's see if he can continue his breakout year and prove that last year was not a fluke. They did lose Milton Williams, but like you said, Jalen Carter.
and Sweat, right?
And Sweat, yeah. So edge rush wise, they might take a step down, but in terms of defensive tackles, you still have the big boys in Davis and Carter.
Going offensively, for the most part, everybody's back. Right now, AJ Dillon's listed as 3rd on the depth chart, which means Will Shipley took a big jump for them. Otherwise, there's nothing crazy. Jalen Hurts is there. Backup is Tanner McKee. He had a good preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Then again, the Cincinnati Bengals defense is ass. Speaking of drama on the defensive side with that as well. But yeah, the question, I guess the other question mark, I guess you could say offensively, is what is the relationship of Hurts and Brown? Because we heard a lot of that last year, and obviously even with the winning, it did not, for whatever reason, kept percolating. Obviously, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Obviously, we'll see what happens throughout this year, what happens, but
maybe that's the formula of winning a Super Bowl.
But they got another wide receiver in John Mechie, who was overlooked in Houston, because they drafted a couple of guys there as well. The O-line for the most part is the same.
Everything's the same.
Yeah, the question,
literally everything is the same except for OC.
Yeah.
There's nothing changed, and that's what gives you so much confidence.
Yeah,
because this same offense won the Super Bowl. It's going to be hard.
And the tush push is back. They did not ban the tush push.
Yeah, that's a big plus. But the only difference is Saquon Barkley's probably not going to rush for 2,000 yards again. But you never know, because it's obviously very difficult to rush for 2,000 yards again. But there's weapons, stack, pass catchers, elite, running game, elite, quarterback. In the Super Bowl, he proved he was elite. Obviously, he was one of the main question marks of last year's playoff run, and obviously he shut everyone up in the Super Bowl. So when you're looking at it, the Eagles are still stacked. The Eagles are still set.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for us. So comment down below what you guys think, what your standings are. We appreciate everybody watching. Once again, hit the subscribe button, hit the post notification bell, because we have 3 more divisions to talk about and other more predictions and tier list videos coming up. Coming up on the screen. If you guys are Colts fans like us, you guys are probably going to be pissed off with the news that happened about Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones of the QB1. So that video is right here. Make sure you guys click that video. We'll see you guys over there, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.